We'll start about our important thing, which is known as mailbox. Okay. So let us try to understand what is this mailbox and how is it working and how we are going to work with it. Let us try to understand about this. Okay. Yeah. So let's consider a scenario for understanding this particular mailbox. Let's say if I'm going to have a class, let's say this class name is class underscore one. This is my class one. Okay. And I have another class which is class underscore 2. Now, if I want to establish the communication between this class 1 and class 2, I'm going to use something known as mailbox. Okay. So mailbox is nothing but it is used to establish the communication between different components or different classes. Okay. So this is where we can think of using a mailbox like this. Okay. Where if you want to send a packet of data or any particular data packet you want to send or receive, using this mailbox you're going to send or receive. Okay. Now let us see first of all the syntax of this mailbox and how to declare it and how to use it. Let us try to understand. So if you want to use a mailbox, you're going to use a syntax which is mailbox is a keyword which you're going to use, and this particular mailbox needs some parameter. If you pass, then you can pass, or else you can leave this parameter. So what is this is basically the data type which you want to send across this mailbox. Let's say suppose if you want to send a data packet of int data type, then you need to mention here int. So only data type, only the packet of data type int can be shared across this particular mailbox. Okay. So if you're going to mention of any class data type, then only the objects related to that particular class data type can be sent using this particular mailbox. Okay. And followed by you need to declare your variable name. You need to declare your variable name, okay, or the mailbox name you are going to declare. This is how you are going to declare a mailbox. So let's say suppose if I am going to have the class 1 and class 2, okay, and I'm going to declare one more class over here. Let's say this class is some class 3. Okay, so this class 3 is having some data, let's say int packet and reg 3 down to 0 addr. So these are the two fields this class is going to have. And this class object, if I want to send via this mailbox from class 1 to class 2, if I want to send this particular object, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention over here mailbox hash class 3 name class underscore 3 followed by mailbox name. Let's say the mailbox name over here is mbox. So this is how this mbox will now accept only object of this class underscore 3. Okay. So you can only send the class underscore 3 object via this particular mailbox from this class 1 to class 2. Is it clear, guys? How you're going to declare your mailbox and how you're going to set which type of particular data you want to send and receive? Mailbox and interface are completely different. Mailbox is used to establish the communication between your two different classes, whereas your interface is basically it's like your reusable kind of thing where you're going to declare all the particular signals and you're going to reuse it for multiple number of times. And in the interface, it's like a container which is going to have your functions, tasks, and all the signals which you're going to have. Okay, instead of pin by pin connections which you're going to have between your design modules, multiple modules, you can have this interface connected, declared, and you can use that for the connection. Okay. Yes, first of all, let's discuss about mailbox, then we will go to advantages, right? Without discussing, how can we discuss about advantages? Yes, Mailbox is also used for task synchronization, but majorly it is used for in the test bench. When we are going to discuss about SystemVerilog test bench, we are going to see how the data packets are being sent from one module, one class to another class using this particular mailbox. Okay, is it clear? Shall we move forward? Okay, so let's move forward. So this is how I'm going to declare a mailbox, and this is an example where this mailbox is only accepting the class 3 object. Okay. Now, So for using your mailbox, you have different steps. So step number one of using your mailbox is, first of all, you need to declare your mailbox. So declare a mailbox. You need to declare your mailbox of which particular data type you want to share with your mailbox. That particular declaration should be done. Okay. Next step is basically step number two is to create the instance of your mailbox. Instance creation of mailbox. Okay. So you need to create the instance of the mailbox. So how you're going to create the instance of your mailbox is simply you're going to write down mbx or mailbox name is equal to new. So this is how you're going to create your mailbox instance. Okay. After creating your mailbox instance, if you want to put any data into the mailbox, for that is my step number three. Let's say if I want to put any data or send any data into mailbox, any data into mailbox, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a function which is known as put. Okay. So I need to use mailbox name mbox dot put, and I need to put whatever the data I want to put into that mailbox. And let's say if I want to read any data from the mailbox, then I'm going to use a function which is known as get. So using the mailbox name mbox.get, I'm going to get the data from my mailbox. So mailbox is nothing but it's like a FIFO with no size at all. It's an unbounded queue. It's like an unbounded queue where you can send any number of data items and you can receive any number of data items. Let's say you are going to have a class A and you are going to have a class B, and this class A wants to send any particular data to class B. It is going to put the data into this particular mailbox using the put function, and B class B is going to use a get function for getting the data from this particular mailbox. Is it clear? So how you're going to declare your mailbox and how you're going to use your mailbox. The outlines are they clear? Any doubts or any queries? Yes. And give me 1 second. Yes. Shall we move forward? Oh, no. Let's consider one scenario. Let's consider one scenario where we have class 1. Let's say this is C1 and this is C2. Okay, so this is my class C1 and this is my class C2. And I have one more class which is, let's say, trans. This is going to have, so the class trans is going to have the information of data which is rich 7 down to 0 data, and one more information is rich 3 down to 0 address. Okay, so this class trans is going to have this information. Let me declare this class directly. Okay, let me use EDA playground further. And this class C1 is going to send the data to class C2 via the mailbox. This is our requirement. So using the mailbox, so using my mailbox, what my class C2, C1 is, C1 should do is send this trans to this mailbox, and C2 will receive this trans object from the mailbox. This is our requirement that we need to fulfill. Okay. Yes. So let us see how to do this. Let me open the playground. Anyone knows how to do that? So what are the steps we need to do? Any idea? Let me share my screen. So this is a requirement which I'm going to have, and let's see how to do this. So I'm going to declare a simple class C1 and another class C2. Okay. So let me declare it over here. Class C1 and this class C1, and this is my end class, and another class C2 and followed by end class, and I have one more class which is trans. This is going to have the information rich 7 down to 0 data and rich 3 down to 0 address. Okay, and followed by end class. And each class, let's declare one display function for displaying the content. Just a normal display function, dollar display from class C1. And let me copy it and paste it over here, right? And this is class C2 and this is my class trans. Okay. Now tell me, where should I use my mailbox and how should I go forward for fulfilling my condition? Anyone wants to answer this? So if I want to fulfill this condition of C1 putting the things into this mailbox and C2 getting things from this mailbox, that is this trans. So where should I declare this mailbox? Should I declare it in C1 or should I declare it in C2? Anyone wants to answer? Look into it and tell me. So again, I'm repeating my question again. So C1 needs to send the trans object into this mailbox and C2 needs to get the trans object from this mailbox. So where should I declare the mailbox? Should I declare it in C1 or should I declare it in C2? Is my question. C2. Okay, because C1, C2. Okay. Next, any other answers? Need to declare in C1 and C2. Okay. Okay. So what are the steps which we have seen over here? So step one is to declare a mailbox that we are having a confusion and create the instance of the mailbox. Why are we creating the instance of the mailbox? If you are going to send any data into the mailbox or if you are going to put any data into the mailbox, some memory should be present now. So that particular mailbox memory should be created. Okay. So let's say if I'm going to declare the mailbox in my C1 and C2. Okay. So let's say if I'm going to declare the mailbox in my C1 mailbox, let's mailbox, and before that I need to declare the trans class handle trans t1. Okay, so mailbox hash t1, let's say the mailbox is mbox underscore c1. Okay, and let me let me declare a function or let me declare a task, because if it is time consuming then we can have it. So task run underscore c1, what I'm going to do is mbox underscore c1 dot put of trans. Okay, and let me declare a function over here, function void new, and here, sorry, function new, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object for my t1 and for my end function. Okay, and let me declare the t1 at the top. Okay, and in my c2 also I'm going to declare the mailbox end task. Okay, and in the c2 also I'm going to declare my trans class trans t2, and here I'm going to have a task which is known as run underscore c2. And here first of all let me declare the mailbox in my c2 class. Let me copy it, and in the c2 class I'm going to declare it, which is mailbox underscore c2 and mailbox underscore c2 dot get of trans. Yes, this is what I have done. Now let me show it in a diagrammatical way also. So in my c1 I have declared one mailbox, so this is my c1. Here c1 I have created the instance of my mailbox, and in c2 also I have created the instance of my mailbox. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to put the data into this mailbox, and here I'm trying to get the data from the mailbox. This is what I've done. Will i will i able to put any data, and will I be able to get any data, or whether can I able to establish the communication between c1 and c2 if I'm going to do this? From the diagram, can you see Whether can I able to do this particular communication, establish any communication? No. Here there is no common memory for C1 and C2, right? C1 is having its own memory of mailbox and C2 is having its own memory of mailbox. If you are trying to put the data into the mailbox, okay, this particular data will be put into this mailbox. And if you are trying to get the data from the mailbox, this will be get from this mailbox. So here there is no shared memory at all. Even if you are trying to put the data, it will be put into this, and if you are trying to get the data, it will be getting from here. These are two separate copies. These are not the same copy. These are two separate copies. Is it clear, guys? Yes or no? Yes, this is what we are missing. Okay, so this is the fundamental point we do miss. Okay, so here we are, these two are different memories. Okay, here no two these two are different mailbox memories. Okay, yes. Now how to create a shared mailbox memory? Yes, any idea? Anyone wants to come up with an approach? Even if you declare the mailbox in one class, then another class is missing that. Can we have a handle for those? Any elaborated answer? Exactly, we are going to declare it globally. Globally in the sense, where are we going to declare? What is global here? So here what are we going to do is, we are going to take one more class. This particular class, let's say it has some top. This class is going to have C1 and C2 handles. And in this top, we are going to declare the mailbox memory. And this mailbox memory handle will be passed to C1 and this will be passed to C2. So C1 will be using this mailbox handle which we have seen, and it is going to put the data into this particular mailbox using the mailbox handle which we have seen. And C2 is also going to use the mailbox handle and it is going to get the data from this mailbox. So using the stock, we are going to create the handles of C1 and C2 in the top, and the mailbox handle will be created in the top, and we are going to do this particular mechanism. Is it clear, guys? What are we going to do? Yes, we can declare it globally outside the class in the top model. Is it clear? This is what we are going to do. Yes, is it clear? Okay. Now, so how to do this? Okay. Now, how to, and one more question. Way to create the mailbox memory in C1 or C2 or in top? Where are we going to declare the memory of the mailbox in C1, C2 or in the top model? Exactly. In the top model, we are going to create the memory of the mailbox. Okay. So, exactly in the top model. Okay. So, what I'm going to do over here is, let me declare it. Okay. And before that, I have one question over here. Uh, is this C1 and C2 are childs of top? Am I right or wrong? C1, C2 are child classes of my top model. Is my statement correct or wrong? No, it's not. Okay. So by seeing the diagram, please don't confuse that C1 and C2 are the top model's child. No. Okay. Generally, people get confused over here. Then what are this called as? C1 and C2 are called as subclasses of your top. Okay. Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to declare a top model over here. I'm going to declare a top model, and in this top model I'm going to have the instance of my class C1. How to declare the instance of my class C1? C1 C1 underscore H. Okay. And I'm going to declare the C2 class instance as C2 underscore H. Okay. So C1 underscore H and C2 underscore H, and also trans class handle as trans T1 underscore H. Like this I'm going to declare. Okay. Now I'm going to declare a mailbox T1 underscore H. Let's say mbox underscore top. This is my top model which I'm going to have. Now I'm going to create the, okay, here comes the next question. So how you're going to pass this mailbox handle to my C1 and to my C2? What is the procedure you're going to follow for passing this mailbox handles to C1 and C2? How to pass it? What do you think? How we are going to pass it? The mailbox handles to my C1 and my C2. Okay. So here, what are we going to do is we are going to use the new method. Okay. So here we are going to use the new method. What are we going to do is C1 is going to have the new method, and in the new method we are going to declare the mailbox argument. So mailbox argument we are going to declare. So that means whenever or whoever is going to create the instance of your C1 using the new method, they should pass the mailbox instance. And also we are going to declare C2, and the C2 is also going to have the new method declared inside it, and the argument will be the mailbox handle. So whenever and whoever is going to create the instance of your C2, they need to pass the instance of this mailbox handle. Okay. And who is going to create the instance of your C1 and C2? Top model is going to create. So the top model is going to create the instance of your C1, and using the new method it is going to create the instance of your C1, and whenever it is creating, it is going to pass the instance of the mailbox. And C2, whenever it is going to create the memory, it is going to pass the instance of the mailbox. So that C1 and C2 are now having the reference to the original mailbox or the common mailbox which has been declared in the top. This is what we are going to do. And this is the application of using your constructor. So using the new constructor, we are going to pass the mailbox handles to our C1 and C2. So such that our C1 and C2 are now referring to the common mailbox handle. Is it clear, guys? Virtual sequence, yeah. Virtual sequence, no, no, no. Okay, is it clear, guys? How we are going to pass the instance? Is it clear to my C1 and C2? Is it clear or not? Yes or no? Or else I will repeat it one more time. Okay. Yeah. Now, if it is not clear, please let me know. I will. Yeah. So what are we doing over here is we have declared the new function inside my C1 and new function inside my C2. And in this new function is going to have the arguments of my mailbox. So C1 is having a new function which is expecting as an argument is mailbox, and this C2 class is having a new keyword and which is also expecting the argument as mailbox. So whenever we are creating the C1 instance using the new keyword or whoever is it is creating, so they need to pass the mailbox instance. Okay. And C2, whenever they are creating the instance of the mailbox, they need to pass the mailbox instance. So that now what is happening, this C1 and C2 are pointing to the same mailbox instance which was created in the top model. Okay, is it clear? And I've said you previously also when we were discussing about a new keyword, I've shown you like whenever you have this new keyword you can use it for arguments passing. So this is how I'm going to use it. Is it clear? Yeah, I will show you what are the arguments and how should the arguments look like. So let me declare the arguments inside my class C1. So how I'm going to declare, so mailbox, what is the mailbox we have created over here? So it should be of trans, and the mailbox name, the argument name can be anything. So let's say it is mbox underscore C1. Okay. This is the argument which this C1 class is expecting. And after we are going to get, what are we going to do is this local mailbox handle which was created in my T1, this dot mbox underscore C1 will now be pointing towards whatever the top model has been passing. Okay. So what I'm doing over here is, let me draw it one more time. So this will be my top module. So inside my top module, mailbox instance has been created like this. Now, whenever we are going to call the new method of your C1, whenever we are going to create the C1 instance using the new method, we are going to pass this mailbox instance. We have already created the mailbox instance in the top. Okay. So that particular instance, I'm going to pass it to my C1. So C1, what it is going to have is, it is also having internally declared mailbox handle, but not the instance. It is just having the handle of the mailbox. Okay. So using the new method, we are passing the mailbox instance, and this instance, what it is now happening is, the handle which we have created is now will be pointing towards this instance which was created in the top. Okay. And here also in the C2, we have a handle which is present, but not the instance. Instance is created in the top so that it can be common to C1 and C2. Okay. And using the new method, we are also passing the same instance which was created. So now the local handle which is present will now be pointing towards the instance which we are passing. So that now C1 and C2 are pointing towards the same instance which is being created in the top model. That is what we are doing over here. So function new, this dot mbox underscore c1 is equal to mbox underscore c1. This mbox underscore c1 is the instance which will be passed from your top model, which will be passed from your top model. Okay. And let me create the instance of this. Mbox underscore top is equal to new. That means we have created the instance. This instance, now we are passing it to my C1 class so that this local handle will be pointing towards the instance which was created in the top model. I hope it is clear. Yes or no? Okay. So the problem what we were facing previously, the problem was, let me show you the problem again. When we were creating the instance of my mailbox in C1 separately and instance of my mailbox C2 separately, there was no shared memory, right, of the mailbox. So what I was doing here is I'm creating the mailbox instance in my top model, and I'm passing it to my C1 and I'm passing it to my C2. So C1 will have internally declared mailbox handle but not the instance, that will be pointing towards the common mailbox instance which is being declared in the top, and C2 is also having a mailbox handle which is declared, that will also be pointing towards the common mailbox instance which is created in the top, so that both the mailboxes is now pointing towards the same instance. This is what we are establishing. Is it clear, Suraj and others? Yeah, this understanding is very, very important because generally people will just implement it, but this understanding is very, very important. Yes. Others also, please let me know. Is it clear? Okay, that's good. Now, that is what I'm implementing over here in the new, in the, where is my class C2? Class C2, I'm going to have the function new and mailbox. It is expecting of T1. Sorry, it's T2 I've declared now. So it is T2. And let me declare it before that. Okay, T2, it is expecting, and the handle name is mbox underscore C2. Okay. And this dot mbox underscore C2 is equal to mbox underscore C2 and followed by end function. So this is what we have done over here. Okay. So this is how we are passing our handles to our class C1 and class C2, so that class C1 is, and class C1's mailbox handle and class C2's mailbox handle is now pointing towards the common instance which was created in the top model. So this diagram we have basically implemented. Okay. Please look into it and let me know if there are any particular doubts or any other queries. Okay. So afterwards, what we are going to do? So simple. Now the process is simple. We are going to create the instance of our C1 underscore H. So within an initial beginning block, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the instance of my C1 underscore H and I'm going to pass the mailbox handle and C2 underscore H new of mbox underscore row. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all display the functions which are present inside my C1 and C2. So C1 underscore H display and C2 underscore H dot display. First, let us display the things and let's see what is being displayed, whether it's working or not. I'm also running it for the first time. Let's see. Testbench 19. Sorry, here we have to have T1. In the top model, what we have declared. Okay, let me write down the class name directly. It's trans. Let's write down the trans class. Trans. What happened to this? Here also we will write down the class name. So that means that particular class data type will be able to, we are going to send and receive. Yeah. And we are done. And in 35 and 36, let us remove this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the data that is T1. Okay. And not the class I'm going to put the data which is T1. And I'm going to get the data which is T1. Here also I need to change not the class name. Here the data I'm going to receive and send. Line number 50. Okay. Here I've declared T2 now. Okay. Let me write it. Here I've declared T2, right? So that's fine. Yes. So we are just displaying from class C1 and we are displaying from class C2. Okay. Now, if I want to send any data or if I want to put any data, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this task which is present inside my class C1, which is nothing but run underscore C1, so that it will try to put the data into the mailbox. So before trying to put the data into the mailbox, what we will do is we will write down T1 underscore T1 dot what is present inside your transaction data. Let's say data is equal to 10. T1 dot address is equal to 5. Okay. And we are going to put the data into the mailbox. And C2 is going to get the T2 and let's display it. Okay. So dollar display. Okay. Before let's have one more function or let's have one more task. So let's say this task receive. This task name is receive, and what it is going to do is it is just going to display. We have written get a, yeah, okay, we have already written, right? So let us write it down there only. So we are going to display dollar display. The value of data is percentage d comma t2 dot data. Let's see what is that we are going to get. But first of all, we need to call this tasks run underscore c1 and run underscore c. So how we are going to call it? We are going to use c1 underscore h dot run underscore run underscore C1 and C2 underscore H dot run underscore C2. I'm calling this two tasks so that putting and getting will be happen. Yes. So the value of data is 10. And let me enhance the message. What is this message is? The value of data received by class 2 from class 1 is percentage %t. Yes. Is it clear, guys? Are you able to follow me? Just a simple thing which I've done. Let me show you one more time. I've declared a trans class where the variables are being present. And in the class C1, I've declared the handle of my transaction class. And I've declared the local mailbox handle. And using the new function, I'm going to get the instance of my mailbox from the top model. Okay. And I'm going to copy that instance into my local copy by writing this assignment mbox underscore c1 is equal to mbox underscore c1. And I've also created the instance of my t1 so that I can access this particular properties, right? Now I've declared a display task just for displaying purpose. That's it, not more than that. And I've written a task where I'm going to access the data and address of my transaction. And after modifying these values, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the entire object into my mailbox, mbox.put. Now inside my class C2, I need to declare one more handle of my transaction so that whatever the data which I'm going to get, I need to store it somewhere, right? That's why I'm going to declare this handle. And I've declared the local copy of my mailbox. And using the run underscore C2, what I'm going to do. So before that, you need to first of all declare your new function such that the top module instance will be copied to your local mailbox handle. Okay. I've shown you in the diagram, right? Now, after that, you are going to declare another task where you are going to get the data from the mailbox and you're going to display it using t2.data. And where you're going to call the C1 and C2 tasks, you're going to call it from the top model. First, you need to create the handle of C1, handle of C2, transaction class, mailbox instance to be created in the top model only. And within an initial block, you're going to create the instance of your class C1. When you're going to create it, you're going to pass the mailbox instance you have created so that C1 class mailbox handle will be pointing towards the main mailbox instance, and C2 class mailbox local handle will be pointing towards the top model mailbox instance. And I'm going to just display the tasks and I'm going to call this run underscore C1 so that the data will be put into the mailbox, and here data will be get from the mailbox. This is what we have done. Hope it is clear. Any doubts or any queries? Anyways, I will share you the code and recordings. Once go through it, it will be really very interesting if you have understood this. That's why object oriented programming is very interesting if you understand the things. But if it will be difficult if you are not able to visualize them. Right. Yes. Any other queries or any other doubts over here?